Hey everyone, it's Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about some recent May releases that I read and loved, and I just want to share with all of you. So let's just jump in. One of the books I read was Once Upon an Eid, Stories of Hope and Joy by 15 Muslim Voices, and this is edited by S.K. Ali and Aisha Saeed. And this number one is a gorgeous cover, and it just makes me so happy. And I love the community and everything that's on the front. I think that's just really representative of what's in the book. But I love reading about religion, even though I'm not a religious person. And I was so excited to see this book. This has stories from a ton of authors. You want to say hi to your fans? Yeah? You want to say hi to your fans? We just woke up from a nap, so we're a little cranky. And basically, it's just celebrating Eid, which is an Arabic word that means celebration or feast that repeats. So there are two Eids that are celebrated primarily, and one, I'm going to mispronounce these, I'm so sorry, is Eid ul-Fitr, which is the breaking of the fast, marking the end of Ramadan. The second one is Eid ul-Adha, and that is the Feast of the Sacrifice, which marks the 10th day of the Hajj. And this whole collection just had me smiling because it's so joyful and happy. I highly recommend it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It is definitely geared toward like a middle grade and YA, but I think even adults will enjoy this because it's such a joyful book. So definitely check it out. The next book I read was Ghostwood by Claribel A. Ortega, and this is a middle grade book that follows Lucely and her spooky, obsessed friend Sid. Lucely actually lives in a haunted house. The spirits of her lost loved ones live on as fireflies at her house, where she lives with her dad, and her mom has passed on. And her father runs ghost tours in the town, and during one of these tours, something happens to Lucely's beloved grandmother that causes her to disappear. In order to get her grandmother back, Lucely and her best friend Sid cast a spell and inadvertently release malevolent spirits who want to destroy the town of St. Augustine and pull it back into the underworld. In order to reverse the spell and the damage, they team up with Sid's witch grandmother and her cat Chunk and try to save the town and at the same time get Lucely's grandmother's spirit back. I thought this was so cute. I love the Dominican culture in here. It's so rich and vibrant, and I love that her relative spirits were fireflies that lived on, and I just thought that was so touching. And I loved the story. I loved Chunk. He's an adorable little cat. And I just think this is the perfect amount of spooky for middle grade, but it was still entertaining enough that young adults and adults could enjoy it. I just thought it was a really cute, spooky read, and you should definitely check it out. And the cover, again, is just gorgeous. And I love this. Be prepared, respect the dead, always have a cat, which is a good life motto to have. Finally, I read Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. And number one The cool thing about this book that publishing companies never do, even though they totally should, is the actual book has artwork on it. And it's so significant to the story. And I just, this is almost more beautiful without the dust jacket, but that's just my opinion. This is a novel in verse, and I did listen to it mostly on audio because Elizabeth Acevedo is such a great audiobook narrator. Her voice is very captivating and soothing, but keeps you interested, and it's got this really light lilt that's so beautiful. I could listen to her read anything and it would be wonderful. This follows two perspectives. The first perspective is Camina Rios, and she lives in the Dominican Republic, and her mother has died, and so she lives with her aunt, and she only gets to see her father in the summers. So at the opening of this book, she is going to the airport because she's so excited because he's about to come in for the summer. On the opposite, we have Yahara Rios, and she lives in New York with her mother. The book opens with Yahara being called to the principal's office, and her mother is in there to tell her that her father has tragically died in a plane crash. It's a dual perspective book about both of these girls dealing with their grief and coming to terms with the secrets that they're learning about their family and discovering each other. And the story starts where they're separated, and then it slowly converges their storylines in such a wonderful way. I loved this book. It hit a little close to home. I lost my father when I was 18, and it was unexpected, and so I went into this blind. So if that's a trigger for you, definitely keep that in mind when you're reading this. But it had me crying through the whole thing, like happy, sad, and just wonderful. This is honestly probably my least favorite of Elizabeth Acevedo's books, but it was still a 5-star read for me. So I have loved everything she's put out. She's one of my favorite YA authors, and this book was just no exception. It was brilliant. It was wonderfully written. It was so touching and captivating, and I definitely recommend it. Those are the 3 recent reads that I read this month that are new releases. So have you read any of those, or do you plan on reading any of these? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye.